Join us for the Global School Podcast airing every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, where thought-provoking conversations await to ignite your passion for learning. Our hosts include parents, entrepreneurs, and kids from Weekle School, a pioneering kid-led learning community that is revolutionizing education. Here, kids have the freedom to choose the topics and actively participate alongside professionals from diverse backgrounds. At Weekle, we firmly believe that every voice matters, including yours. We invite innovative and curious families to join, watch, listen, and actively engage by sharing your unique insights and stories of growth and discovery. Together, let's foster a vibrant community of passionate learners supporting one another in a safe and uplifting environment that encourages open-mindedness and genuine human connections. To tune in or become part of the conversation, simply download Weekle app. We are thrilled to meet you and embark on this transformative journey together.
Are you ready? Everybody get your glass, your cup, your mug, your chalice, a vessel of any kind. Fill it with your favorite liquid. I like orange juice and coffee. And join us for the simultaneous sip. Let's go. Oh, I'm going to kick things off here with a really fun story.
Love sack.
So we're hanging out in the mall. And I didn't just do that in Lovesac. I did that in every single store that had anything soft.
Yeah. All the bed stores.
Because you got to test them.
We got a video, you tossed Isla onto this bed, and Jimmy was like, oh, that's firm.
So the story is we're at the mall. I'm tossing the kids on this, like, it's like a really nice place. This mom walks by. So she looks at me with this look. She's like, how do you parent your children? And I look at her in the eyes and I said, easy. I don't. Well, we also built a giant castle in our basement using cardboard and some other things. So that was cool. That's a whole separate story.
An old metal bookshelf. It had 2 floors and a slide.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And a ladder.
We had this birthday party. Isla's got a bunch of friends to come over because, like, you know, when you're in public school, it's like really easy.
Ready to go to war against that pinata?
Yeah! And so I've got this video of Isla's friends all running through the castle, climbing up the stairs, and they're all wearing, like, you know, you've got Snow White, you've got Brave, you've got Beauty and the Bees, you got the Little Mermaid, you got like everybody, and they're just like one little girl after the next sliding down this slide, and I'm sitting there with a giant blow up hammer, like doing this and just barely missing them each time.
Okay, you were trying to miss.
Yeah,
They're like 6 years old.
Yeah,
they were basically like a.
But Priyanka, you have so many stories. You've been going around India with Adi all this time. Like, what's your, like, tell us one of your stories.
Yeah, I'm going to tell a kind of a very emotional and strong story that happened yesterday. So Adi was with people, with a family, and he suddenly says that I don't want to go home. And they asked why, and he says, I don't have a home. And everybody is silent, and they are looking at him. And, you know, like they are really scared of what to say next. And then he says, the world is my home. I want to travel. And they are like, oh.
Wow.
Wait.
That's
and he says that I want to live this way. This is amazing. I want to meet different people. And the family was quite speechless. They thought that I thought it's going to get very emotional the way he said that. But suddenly he's like, I love this life. I want to travel. I like to see new people, meet. And so I didn't know what to make, of it. But the way he articulated it, it was so beautiful that I was just thinking later, and I told my mom about it. And, parents have a way to look at it in a very emotional aspect of this that, he doesn't have that. But I looked at it in a sense that how positive he was when he said that. He said that, I want this journey to be endless. I want to just go hop from one place to another. And I feel the world is my home now.
Audie. He's a
Well,
fellow host on the podcast too. Did he pause for effect like that? Be like, you want to go home? I don't have a home. 1,000.
yeah, it was a long pause.
1,000.
There was a
The
long
world is my home. Okay.
He made it very dramatic.
Yeah, nice. I had such a wonderful walk in the park with Amanda's family yesterday. It inspired me to write an article. It's like I basically write the same essay every week, but it's the best version of that essay so far. And it was very much inspired by meeting her family in person. And yeah, I'm so glad you're here. You want to share a story?
Sure. So we are a very rough and tumble play family. Very. I think it would probably weird a lot of people out as much as, Daniel wrestled and threw and tossed. And, as Lexi grew up, even I was a part of it. Like, we're still rough and tumble. We still, we'll chase each other through a house because somebody, grabbed a Nerf gun all of a sudden. That's just how we are. And so Lexi growing up, that's how, that's what she knows to be just normal. And so we at one point we lived in a 2-story townhouse in Centerville for a while, and her bedroom was right above our living room. And one day I hear this sound, like a giant thud. And I'm like, all right. And then I hear it again and again. I'm like, okay, something's happening upstairs. So I go upstairs, and she has taken all of her stuffed animals, which was a lot. Isla, you would respect the number of stuffed animals that was happening in our house. And she had piled them all up together, including like this giant bear she had, and was leaping from her bed into the giant pile of stuffed animals.
Hey, we
And-
do that a lot.
Oh my gosh, over and over and over again, and loved it. And I remember being very grateful we were in a townhouse at the time and not an upstairs apartment, so somebody else wasn't hearing the constant sound. But she also, that was such a part of life for her, just constant movement and jump and play. And she ran into our bedroom one day, was all excited about something. I don't even remember what it was. We had a queen size bed. She came from one side of the bed, jumped, landed. Her momentum kept going. She flew off the other side of the bed and hit the floor all in one giant movement. And I remember just freezing for a second and thinking, this one might be bad. She popped up and was fine. And we had a lot of things like that as she grew up. We'd go to other people's houses, my parents' house or something, and she'd, fall off something, jump off something, whatever the case may be, and pop back up. And I saw a lot of surprise, especially my husband's mom. She struggled with it, I think, more. This idea that Lexi was that resilient, that she wasn't going to really get hurt. She knew how to pop back up and keep going. And I see that has served her very well through different things in life. As we've moved a lot, the kid has moved, oh man, a lot. And Daniel and I in our marriage are up to 20 plus moves at this point. She's 13. I think she's probably moved 10 times at this point. But I hope that resilience, is keeping her popping back up each time things get disrupted.
Yeah, you don't need to worry. She's amazing. Yeah. All right. Well, since you brought up jumping, I'm going to introduce you guys to a game called Bok Bok. You can play this at any hotel that has 2 queen size beds. It's really great. You basically pretend to be a chicken and you jump from one to the other. Here we
We
go.
have to say "Bok, bok" while you go.
Go, children.
Wait,
Bucky, 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 Bucky.
You can do
Bucky,
it.
Bucky.
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Wait for it, wait for it.
Bucky, Bucky.
So you pretend to be a chicken. Now, who's got this right?
2, 1, Bucky, Bucky.
All right, who's next? Bob, are you up? No, you gotta do the bok. Yay, kind of. That was sort of it. Think of a wonderful thought.
Go.
And you happy love. Focus.
Is this that was
Woo!
Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
I
Yeah.
Invented that game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was just gonna ask. I was thinking maybe that might be a Joe invention, but Isla, you're saying you invented that game?
Yep.
Well, we always would leap between the beds, but then we just made it a game. Yeah.
So that's one thing
Yeah,
about
that and the
kids,
chicken.
like, because like the first 5 years, they don't remember.
Yeah.
They just think all these ideas are just things they just cooked up. Yeah.
I made that up.
Yep, you totally did. I had no influence on you whatsoever.
No, you did. Had the idea of jumping from bed
I'm agreeing
to
with you.
the bed.
Oh yeah.
The reason why I was asking about that is I could see like just the jumping back and forth, like that's just fun, athletic, that
Great
feeling.
exercise.
But then someone adds in the chicken part, and it's like they're trying to make it so there's a funny, you look silly as you're doing that. So that's why I was really curious who decided to add on that, well, it can't just be this. We got to add this onto it.
You gotta
and
keep
you gotta
going.
have the belly flop. Also, by the way, if you are going to
Because
try
chickens
that,
can't fly.
Sorry.
I would recommend, if you are going to try that, adding more pillows and cushion, because sometimes this area can be sensitive.
Well, I think that, Amanda's daughter, I think, she had the right idea. Like if you have
Yeah.
enough stuffed animals, you can make it work.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Chris. Do you want to share a story from your childhood?
So the one thing I remember from my childhood that was super fun that my dad used to do with us was one year. So my little brother is two years younger than I am, so we're similar in age. And one year we got boxing gloves for a Christmas present, or it had to have been Christmas because we both got a set of boxing gloves. And I was maybe 7 or 8 at the time, so that put my little brother, like 5 or 6-ish, and my dad would put one glove on and put his hands behind his back, his other hand behind his back. But then one of us got to wear 2 gloves, and we would just square up and go at my dad as hard as we could. He had one hand, we had 2 hands, and it was aggressive. But it was the most fun that I can remember as a kid, because it was just like pure enjoyment. But from the outside, you would think it was like child abuse or physical abuse, or so, just because we're beating the tar out of each other. Now, being kids, we couldn't hit very hard, but we did understand where sensitive places were. And so if we started losing, we would just even the score by cheating, right? Because and so for me, that's one of the things I remember. It's not really a story, but because we did it so often until the gloves literally just fell apart because we used them so much. And my mom was like, yeah, bare knuckle boxing's not something I'm going to promote in my household. And so she ixnayed it, and we ended up never getting boxing gloves again, because I think we started getting stronger, and it was getting to where it was moving from more of just this is going to be fun to, no, this is going to actually, I think it was my little brother split my dad's lip open. And at that point it was like, all right, we probably need to end the boxing game, or else somebody's gonna actually call the cops on us.
Yeah, Isla and I were practicing Taekwondo sparring on a day. It was a holiday, and this is called How to Resolve Sibling Rivalry.
Yeah, this is the way to do it right here.
Okay.
Because you're doing an axe kick.
Did you just say ass kick?
No, you're not allowed to kick people in the butt.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to say ass.
No, it's axe.
Oh.
Like
okay.
an axe that you use to
Oh,
chop
an
down a
axe.
Yeah.
Kick. That's hard to say. Say axe kick 10 times fast. Go.
Axe kick, axe kick,
You don't see. I said don't say ass. You're a bad daughter.
Yeah.
Okay, now keep fighting.
Okay.
We did sword fighting.
Yeah.
That was really our preferred style of rough and
Foam
tumble.
swords fighting.
Foam sword fighting.
And Nerf guns.
And
that's
the
true.
giant what's that thing that I had on the
It was
taekwondo
like a
belt with the
flail.
pillow?
She
Yeah.
made a flail.
Yeah. So basically I had like this pillow and then I wrapped it in a taekwondo belt and then I attached another taekwondo belt to that so I could like
So I'm outside swinging this thing like as hard as I can, and Sume and Isla got their shields and their swords, and they're like trying to get near me, and I'm like bashing them like the head of the. It was kind of like you ever see Lord of the Rings, the head of the ring wraiths. You know, he's got that giant mace.
It was a video. It wasn't
Anyway, more stories. Aquinas.
What was it? The boxing by Chris and the kind of the throwing of the girls. So one, I vaguely remember some of my last memories with my biological dad. I think I must have been like 5 or 6, somewhere between 5 and 7, and I would visit him, separate from my mom because they already split. And a couple of memories I have is us watching wrestling late at night. So I think, so I'm 49. So if I was like 7, 42 years ago, so what is that, like 1980? I think wrestling used to happen at like 11:30 or 12, Kerry Von Erich, Andre the Giant, all those kind of things. So anyway, I remember staying up with him. We would watch it, and then eventually he would like wrestle with me in bed, like body slams and kind of pick me up and toss me in the pillows, similar to what Joe kind of described. When I had my gymnastics center from 1997 to 2017, I don't know if y'all can picture like these big, like square, rectangular, squishy mats. After the kid does a gymnastics move, they lay it on a mat. It's like that thick. So anyway, I would put like 4 of those together. So you'd have it like this, and then another one. So like 4 rectangles. So I think they were 8 foot long. So we had like a big mat area. And then it would become me on my knees against about 7 to 8. That's the amount, 4 to 7-year-olds. And it was primarily girls, but this was Kent, but every now and then there'd be a boy surrounded me like they're gonna kick my butt, so to speak. And then I said, all right, let's go. And they would just come at me. I said, there's no kicking and there's no punching. Strong. It's just not gonna be too bad. But the main thing is they're trying to tackle me or push me over. But I would be going for my arms, and if I got like one of them and I could be quick enough, I can quickly like get them in the air as a body slam, like here we go. But then at the very end, I could do like a gentle lay down, but not too gentle that they couldn't still feel a little
right.
But not like that. So anyway, so like again, it's me plus 7, and so like they're jumping and I'm moving around and like around the net and kind of throwing them that way, and they're just falling. But a man can have fun and be rough and like make sure he keeps you safe, and you can have fun and feel like, hey, if we all kind of team together, we can get them down kind of thing. They love that physicality of wrestling. And again, to your credit, Joe, I don't think too many girls get the opportunity to wrestle a lot. I just got the feeling that that's not so common. So I thought and this could be very beneficial.
Basically what Aquinas is saying, Priyanka, is that you should start fighting with Adi.
Well, also Isla and I did Taekwondo from a very young age. We don't know the experience of not having those experiences. So kind of like even though Taekwondo isn't actually the most like really like super rough in terms of like from all the martial arts that you can pick, Taekwondo is one of the more that's just like, let's kick the air and look pretty. But like but it
does look pretty,
yeah,
especially in slow motion.
Yeah. But I mean there is still sparring, you're still like kicking, punching, especially when you get to like older belts and and you get older and you're doing free sparring, and then like it's not just like anymore.
So
But yeah.
Well, I am actually, I'm like doing a little bit of wrestle tackle with my friend, but that was for a role play game. So we started a role play game where we're basically kids in a elite secret private detective school, basically for training elite detectives and agents. And so one of the classes that we go to is basically called fight class. And so basically we're learning how to do.
is the first rule of fight class that you don't talk about fight class?
No. But Fight Club, no. So
You guys seen Fight Club, Joe?
no.
I've seen Fight Club, but Isla knows through everything.
Yeah. It's a long story.
Yeah.
Okay. But basically for fight class, we're basically doing like wrestling, but and so we're trying the first person, we're doing this in her bedroom, but the first person to touch the bed loses. So you're basically trying to push and shove and use moves to try and get them into a vulnerable position to push them over onto the bed. And so it's actually quite useful in the sense that I'm smaller than her. She's a year older than me. So I need to learn how to use that as an advantage rather than a disadvantage. Because I can't really muscle my way through it.
Or you could use the taser I bought you.
No.
All right. Here's something I think is really weird. Is that I don't know kids that are like more disciplined, try to eat healthy food and exercise, all those things. But most of the time when you guys were trying to do those things, I was making fun of you. So like when Sumia was like, oh, I need to stop eating so much red meat, I start making bacon every morning and I'm just
No, when I was vegetarian for 2 years.
So good. And then like she's going to taekwondo and she's like, I should be encouraging as a parent, right? But instead I'm like, all right, fight me. Let's see what you've learned. And then it's just like, and she's kicking me like as hard as she can. I'm just like, I'm sorry. I don't feel anything. And I buy her a taser and I'm like, here you go. This will work. Great. Like use this, practice with this, like I wasn't very encouraging. And yet she's like taking it very, very seriously. Kind of like the trip to India. Like I didn't book any tickets. I didn't book any hotels. I finally, I think, used the Airbnb like the day before we left. I finally used it once. But she's like booking all this stuff. And I'm guessing like part of it is that she's like, Dad's just not going to do it. I have to do it. Dad's literally going to let me eat ramen noodles all day. So there's nothing stopping you. Like you just were like, I guess I got to take care of my own health. I think that's what it was.
So the goal of parenting is to.
I don't know about goals. I'm just lazy.
Okay, so
I just think that in isolation does not tell a very good, I think that like anecdotally and kind of like talking about that specifically, people will be like, oh yeah, like, but get into this whole narrative.
I'm not an unschooler, I'm laissez-faire. There's a difference.
I think that it's like both extremes in different situations with different purposes. Right. So when it comes to things that just aren't like really critical in terms of like, as you were talking about universal principles and just like really important things, then you are not laissez-faire or unschooling in that at all.
No, then I become a dictator.
Yeah. then for everything else that is like not very important and it's just kind of like, it's like you're just gonna have to make your own decisions for yourself and set your own boundaries and decide what you want to do. And there are some things that might be like considered better or worse, but you just kind of have to come to it yourself. Also, if
you're getting so serious, I just want to tell silly stories.
Okay.
Can you pull up the giant teepee one?
Oh.
Because I want to tell us.
I want to know if Sume's shocked you yet with her taser.
My wife did.
It was in the lab.
We wanted to know how how dangerous was this thing? So we're giving it to our children, right? Because that's what you do when you buy a taser.
Right, totally.
And so I'm like, we're having a little house party, and I'm trying to teach her how to like have you ever used a taser? Raise your hand if you use a taser. Okay, well, anyway, you click the button and it goes like it just continually shocks, right? So I'm trying to get her to just do one, just like a real quick, you know? And my wife's hand-eye coordination,
Daddy.
she's really good at like lots of things.
Everything else.
She's just not, but like even just screwing on jars, like it's just, oh, the jar's like half, you know.
Daddy.
So anyway, I'm sitting there, mom's, you know, she's had a glass of wine. Yeah, for her, that's a lie. Anyway, so she goes in for the tase and she's like, and she's like, no, it's just, you know. Anyway, that's not a parenting story. That's just irresponsible parents. I don't know what that is. But
Lesson here is to give your kids tasers.
yeah. Anyway, this is good. This is cool. Check this out. So this is Sumei's birthday right before the pandemic. This is like almost a year before the pandemic starts.
That's bamboo, by the way. We have a bunch of bamboo in our
Did
yard.
have.
So
Now it's
now
gone.
it's all gone.
Yeah, it's so sad.
And
So sad.
yeah. So I was out there. You could see I just kept going, but I could tell which one of Sumei's friends were like super cool because they kept helping, you know, and some of them just dropped off. But one of them was being, she wasn't being very nice. She wasn't playing well with others. And I always made clear with my kids' friends that like I love having lots of fun.
You don't do like the here's your first warning, here's your second warning.
Okay, third warning. Now, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
I can't stand it. And it's like, and it's not like these parents literally will, you know, those parents, because they're the ones that are in the grocery store in the checkout aisle, and the kid's like, I want my stuff. And the mom's just like, no, I want my. And they'll keep going. And then 20 minutes in, she gives in, and it's like, wow, you're teaching that kid resilience. You know? Now they know 20 minutes she'll break. Right?
You keep whining, and
But
then you get what you
you
want.
ain't never met a dad, never did a dad, never. Like, I mean, I would just bring the hammer down. And by that, I mean the plastic blow up one. Like,
Yeah.
but like, I just sent him home. Like, I mean, I told him ahead of time. Because I don't want to have fun. You can't have fun with kids like that around.
Yeah.
You know? So I just, you know, and as soon as she was gone, all the other kids at Sumei's birthday party were like having so much fun. You could feel the difference though. It just doesn't happen.
As kids, we kind of self-regulated that. So growing up, there was a bunch of kids in our neighborhood that we all played together, and one of our neighbors had they were cowboys, so they had a ranch, they had horses, they had cattle, they did rodeos, and so if you were a pain in the butt, we would chase you around with cowboy ropes, lasso you, and hang you from the tree upside down until you played nice with everyone else.
Yep, totally. Mhm.
So we self-regulated that a bit.
So there's some of that was some of what I was writing about yesterday. Is there's this breakdown now in self-regulation.
Well, there's so much just like you can't let anybody's feelings get hurt. And it's just like in order to confront somebody and say like, you know, you can't do this, and like you're gonna upset them, you're gonna risk upsetting them. But if you can't even do that, then it's not.
Yeah.
Well,
We were talking. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, we were talking yesterday about this. Daniel and I were talking after reading your thread, and I've been thinking about this. Why do I see kids not doing that, like regulating within their group? But I'm wondering, is part of that because as parents, we aren't feeling like we can regulate somebody else's kid when it needs to be done? Because I certainly don't. I've been in we've homeschooled Lexi's whole life. So I've been in a lot of different homeschool groups, and I don't know if I have yet to see a parent really step in And there's like, but a lot of it comes down to, Daniel and I were saying, when he was a kid, his dad had to step in. There were times when there was like something really serious happening and his dad would stop everything. And but his dad knew everybody in the neighborhood. My husband grew up in a really small town. So his dad knew that kid's dad and his mom and where they worked and who they were. And I don't have that familiarity with the families that I'm interacting with. So I do have this hesitation when I see a kid who's clearly not making it a fun event for others. I don't feel comfortable stepping in because I don't know what the reaction will be from the parents. So the kids aren't getting this example of parents stepping in and helping regulate. So it's hard to internalize something you've never seen done.
Join us for the Global School Podcast, airing every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, where thought-provoking conversations await to ignite your passion for learning. Our hosts include parents, entrepreneurs, and kids from Weekly School, a pioneering kid-led learning community that is revolutionizing education. Here, kids have the freedom to choose the topics and actively participate alongside professionals from diverse backgrounds. At Weekly, we firmly believe that every voice matters, including yours. We invite innovative and curious families to join, watch, listen, and actively engage by sharing your unique insights and stories of growth and discovery. Together, let's foster a vibrant community of passionate learners supporting one another in a safe and uplifting environment that encourages open-mindedness and genuine human connections. To tune in or become part of the conversation, simply download Weekly app. We are thrilled to meet you and embark on this transformative journey together.